Hey, everybody, what's going on? This is your man, Big B, Brian Hanley, and welcome back to Steelers Almighty, fastest growing Steelers channel on YouTube. We appreciate everybody being in here. We have got a good show for you guys today, man. First up, defense said enough is enough this past week against the Indianapolis Colts. Is it a turnaround or was it just a 1 week thing? We'll dig into that a little bit. How good is Keeanu Benton? Lot of talk about Keeanu Benton. We're pretty tough on Keeanu Benton on Steelers Almighty, but we're going to dig in and really find out how good this guy either is or isn't. As far as offensive weapons, next up, I think the offensive weapons are good enough. And I mean, I'll explain exactly what I mean by good enough because I think they actually are fine for what we have. We'll dig into that. And then are we really contenders? Like, can the Steelers really win a Super Bowl the way that we are currently constructed? Is it enough? Do we have enough? We'll dive into all of that. So appreciate again everybody being in here. Weekly, you can find us on youtube.com/Steelers Almighty. Anywhere that you have social media platforms, you can find Steelers Almighty there. And if you prefer the audio version of this podcast, anywhere you get a podcast, you can find us at Steelers Almighty. Remember to like, follow, subscribe, continue to get in the comment section, and always hit the notification bell so you know exactly when Steelers Almighty content comes out. Let's get into this, people. So first things first. Last week we saw something good. We saw the Pittsburgh Steelers defense stand up. You know, they came first off. Is this sustainable? Let's start there. And I think it's sustainable, but in the context of we're not going to get 5 sacks every game. We're not going to get, especially 6 turnovers every game. So is it sustainable? It is, but it's context matters. It doesn't have to be that extreme, if you know what I'm saying. Like, we don't have to get 6 turnovers, you know, or is that the only way that you think that we can compete? I don't think it is. I think there's other ways to be able to get off the football field other than turning somebody over. Are the Steelers capable of just doing that, just stopping people? I think they are. You know, they did some of that stuff, in the game against the Colts. You know, the defense, they caused turnovers, but they changed. They did. The schematics looked different. And that's the whole thing. They did some things that were different. You know, we saw the Steelers match up with 12 personnel. We saw them match up going to the 4-3, versus always going to 3-4. Just doing some different things. That 3 linebacker look. It gave them something to think about. And I think it helped us. Peyton Wilson exploded. Now, don't get me wrong, he's played pretty well the last couple of games, but he looks like a different guy. Maybe it's some of that. Maybe it's just being so simple and simplifying things, which they talked about. Maybe that's part of it. Who knows? I just, what I do know is that the Steelers made some changes and they played faster. The defense looked faster, quicker, more decisive. And maybe it was a matter of desperation. I don't know. I mean, Jalen Ramsey came out and had a good talk, but on Friday or on Saturday, at the team hotel, but I don't think that was all of it. I think the Steelers did some stuff. Like I said, having more physicality on the field and being able to stop what had at the time was, the top running back in football. Steelers did that. I mean, they shut down Jonathan Taylor. They did. That's a credit to them. It's also a credit to the schematics, because they did do things differently. This wasn't where Mike Tomlin, and we heard the press conference, well, we just got to do things different. We got to just do the same things, but do them better. They didn't just do the same things. Now, they did some of that stuff, but they also did different things, because how many times are you just going to constantly beat your head on this drum until, well, it's not working. Well, you got to do something different. Steelers did that. A lot of too high safety looks, allowed the Steelers to stop the run, the front seven to stop it. They didn't blitz nearly as much, played cover two man, played cover two, just did a lot of different stuff and wasn't so predictable. Outside of the first 15 plays from the Colts that looked pretty good, after that, the Steelers look good. They look good. They got some things figured out. Now, they still gave up 368 yards. That's still 368 yards, people. But I will say this, a lot of those came in garbage time after the Steelers went up big. A lot of that happened then. But the yardage is the yardage. But my whole thing is what we did, let's see you do it again. Let's make all of us believers by doing it again. And what I say that as far as believers, it's nobody's expecting you to go out and get 6 turnovers again, in the next outing. It'd be nice. We'll take it. But nobody's saying, okay, you got to get 6 turnovers. Otherwise, this is not going to work. No. What we are saying is, let's see another performance. Let's see you be physical against the Chargers. Let's see you come out and do some different things again, mix some things up again, fly around, be aggressive, do all of this again. And then you'll start getting people back on your side, start believing a little bit more in this defense, you know, because one game just isn't going to do it. We saw that one game against the Patriots, and the Patriots are a pretty good football team. Held them to 14 points with all those turnovers. Okay. Well, they still gave up a ton of yards that game. And that's where I think Steeler fans are at. When are we going to see you stop somebody and shut them down? And I get it. We slowed down Jonathan Taylor, and they had 20 points, and they were the highest scoring team in football. Got a big win. But when do we get a team? Hey, man, this defense, boy, they shut them down. 250 total yards. They couldn't do anything. That's what I'm waiting to see this defense. That's what I'm wanting to see unleashed or untapped. That's what I want to see. You know, because without doing that and without doing it again and proving that this defense can be better, then it was a fluke. That's the whole thing. It was a fluke. That's what people are saying that the Patriots game was. It was a fluke. And if you can't back this up again with a good performance, not a 6 turnover game, just a good performance. If you can't back it up with that, people are going to say the same thing. It was a fluke. And if the Steelers are trying to go where they're trying to go, wherever you think that is, you're not going to be able to do that giving up 375 yards every game. That's just not going to work. It's just not going to work, people. We got to be able to stop people. Now, you need complementary football. You need your offense to help you. But at the same time, you got to do your part. Now, but either way, the defense did say enough was enough. They stood up. They stood up. That's what we had been calling for. Stand up and be men. Okay, now you got to do it again. You got to do it. Once is not near enough, not even remotely close. Enough is enough. It's time for this defense to start playing like the defense that we all think that it can be. It's time to start doing that. Every single Sunday, it's time to start doing that. Let's go to the poll question. So, poll question number 1. What do you think is the most crucial area for improvement on the Steelers defense? Is it A, reducing total yards allowed? B, maintain consistency in creating turnovers? C, improvement on 3rd and 4th down conversions? Or D, tackling and physicality in run defense? A lot of good answers up there, people. A lot of good answers. Make sure you put a number 1 in front of your answer so we know exactly what poll question you are answering. Let's move on. So, how good is Keeanu Benton? I am in I say a feud. It's kind of it got serious for a minute, but kind of a playful feud with one of our members. And he doesn't like Keeanu Benton. And it's not so much that I like Keeanu Benton. It's I just refuse to go down the rabbit hole of Keeanu Benton stinks. Now, he has played some bad games this year, and he's played some bad games throughout his career. But let's really dive in. First off, he's out of position. I mean, he's out of position. if any conversation with Keeanu Benton and the Pittsburgh Steelers has to start there, he's not a nose tackle. He's not a traditional nose tackle. He's not uh, um, a sub package nose tackle. That's not him. He's not big enough. Okay, he's not big enough. While I like what he can do, he's just physically not big enough. I think he would be better as a three tech. And I think all of us believe that. But he's not. They're not going to move him there. Doesn't seem like they haven't done it. So this is what we're dealing with. But playing out of position, I mean, you haven't really heard anything, and you're probably not going to hear anything from him. But he's going out there, and at least he's giving the effort. Now, sometimes that effort's not good enough, but how good really is he? Well, let's start with the run game. There's been a lot of games, and let's just be honest. There's been a lot of games where we've seen Keeanu Benton getting ragdolled out there. Just two guys block him and just blow him off the line, just knock him around, just beat him up. And you're like, what are we doing? Get somebody else in there. And then times he tries to run around blocks. He tries to arm over people, and they catch him underneath, and they drive him 4 and 5 yards out of the play, and it looks disgusting. There's been other times where he's played the run really good, gotten low leverage, takes on the double team, creates a pile. He's done real good. So it's just like, man, where's the consistency? Well, I would say this. It's consistency, but he's out of position. So it's hard for you to play consistent when you're not playing in a position that is conducive to you. He's little for a nose tackle. So, but he's not short. If he was 6 foot at 305, and like a fire hydrant out there, okay. Even though he would be little as far as his weight, at least he's stocky built, and you're like, okay, he can anchor in there. Well, he's 6'4". So no, he's not short. He's not stocky guy. So, and you can look at him. I mean, he's a put together dude, but he's just not that big. So he's out of position. So in the run game, he's not great. Now, you look at his numbers aren't terrible. For the season, 3.5 sacks, 19 tackles, 4 tackles for loss. Now, the 3.5 sacks, that guy goes to speak. Keeanu Benton is an above average pass rusher for a defensive lineman. Yeah, he is. He is an above average. Now, that's the part of his game that I think some people, it goes unnoticed because he hasn't been great against the run, and everybody just forgets everything that he can do from a pass rushing position, and they forget it. But he is, 3.5 sacks is 3.5 sacks, ladies and gentlemen. And if you just watch him, he's got pass rush moves inside. And when he gets in a one-on-one situation, he wins a lot. A lot. But you know where he also wins? In running situations when he's playing 3-tech. Like if they shift and he moves out to a 3-tech and it's one-on-one situation, he wins there too. So, man, it's just tough for Keeanu Benton. I mean, he's a young guy. He's in his 3rd year. I think the Steelers, when it comes time, I think the Steelers are going to end up extending him. We'll see what happens next year. But I think he's going to be on the Pittsburgh Steelers for a while. Just my personal opinion. Now, they could go a different way and draft somebody else, and maybe they will. I don't know. But Keeanu Benton's young. He is improving. He's improving. He's just out of position. And it's unfortunate because, again, I like Keeanu Benton. How good can he be? Who knows, man? Who knows? We'll see. We'll see. Let's go to the poll. I like our man Keeanu Benton, though. What is your expectation for Keeanu Benton's sack total for the rest of the season? 10 plus, 7 to 9, 4 to 6, 3.5 sacks, no more. So A, 10 plus, B, 7 to 9 sacks, C, 4 to 6, or D, 3.5, he doesn't get any more. Yeah, I think he's going to get some more. He's too good of a pass rusher not to. Too good of a pass rusher, especially one-on-one situation. He's too good to not get any more, in my opinion. All right, let's move on. We are at the halftime, ladies and gentlemen. Again, thank everybody for being a member, subscribing, a listener, being involved with Steelers Almighty. We absolutely appreciate you guys and everything you have helped us do with this channel, man. It's a channel for fans, by fans. We absolutely appreciate you. If you do want to become a member, make sure you go and sign up. We got a lot of things going on. Again, members, Hall of Fame members. We have the watch party each and every Sunday. The Steelers play. You can come in. We stream the game, or we watch the game as far as a watch party. Everybody's in there. We're talking the game. It's a really, really good time. Y'all would absolutely enjoy it. Also, go over to SteelersAlmighty.shop.com. SteelersAlmightyShop.com. Go over there, pick you up some merch. We got a lot of good stuff over there. Hats, shirts, glasses, mugs. You see me with this water jug each and every week. This came over on Steelers Almighty. It is great. So make sure you guys go and pick up your merch over at SteelersAlmightyShop.com. We appreciate you guys. Thank you for everything. Let's move on. So, offensive weapons. I think the Steelers' offense is fine. I've been saying that for a couple of weeks. There's several of you out there that think, come on, Big B, you're nuts. And I really believe that the Steelers' weapons are good enough. I think what we have right now is good enough. Now, hold on. Hear me out. Hear me out. Before you go ballistic on me, hear me out in what I'm saying. First off, I'm not saying that the Steelers couldn't use an upgrade. I'm not saying that they couldn't use it. Okay. All I'm saying and trying to get across is that the weapons that they currently have, if used properly, are enough to do damage. They are absolutely enough. So let's start off here. For what the offense is and what Arthur Smith brings to the table, here's what we got. First off, Jaylen Warren. Jaylen Warren is a good running back. He's a good pass protector. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. Pretty dynamic guy. Okay. Are there better running backs in the league? Sure, there are. But Jaylen Warren fits what we're trying to do. He's fine. He's fine. And his backup, Kenneth Gainwell, fine. He is fine. He's not as dynamic, not as good a pass catcher or pass blocker as Jaylen Warren, but he is fine. You know, again, Kenneth Gainwell was a backup to a team that won the Super Bowl last year and was fine in that team. So the running back position, as far as weapons, we're good there. Then you go to wide receiver, and we talk about DK Metcalf. Now, I would like to see DK have better hands, that's for sure. And I would also like to see DK be used in a way, his entire skill set. Let DK just line up and run go balls. Let's start throwing him the ball a little bit more deep down the field. Posts, flags, crossers. Let's start doing that a little bit more. Now, granted, throw the ball deep down the field. You got to have time, and that requires the offensive line to hold up their end of the bargain. In the running game as well, but definitely trying to throw ball down the field, you got to have some protection. So I get that. But the Steelers got to start doing that. You brought in DK, you paid him this money, you got to utilize all of his skill set. Because if you're not going to do that, why the hell did you bring him in? Doesn't make sense. It makes absolutely no sense if you're not going to utilize everything that the man can do for you. You got to start doing that. Calvin Austin III, same thing. You got him here, okay? You didn't go out and get another wide receiver because you trust Calvin Austin III. Start using him like you trust him. Shallow crosses, deep crossers. Got to start using him more. And again, I understand the protection needs to be there. But Calvin Austin III can do more than what the Steelers are utilizing him for. He can do some more things. So we got to start doing that. We have got to start using him in ways that can be more dynamic. And it doesn't mean that we have to hand him the ball on a reverse or a jet sweep or anything like that. Utilize him in the passing game more. Roman Wilson's starting to come around. We've seen it now. I know. He turned into Superman on us and fumbled my football. And you know how I feel about fumbling my damn football. But Roman Wilson's actually starting to come around. He is. He's starting to get it figured out. And what I think it is they're starting to trust him a little bit more. So hopefully that fumble doesn't get him in the doghouse and people start continue to trust him and get him out there. We've seen Darnell Washington flourish this season. Just flourish. And the Steelers got to continue to do that. Continue to get him involved in the passing game. Continue to do it. I like what they're using Wash right now. Keep going. Keep going. Pat Fryermuth, I wanted traded 3 weeks ago. Now he's invaluable. I'm entitled to change my mind. I'm a crazy fan, just like you are. So I want Pat Fryermuth. They're utilizing him, and he's playing well. Jonnu Smith. Look, I like Jonnu Smith. Jonnu better come on. That's all I'm going to say. Jonnu's got to come on. Now, also, they're not utilizing Jonnu the way that Miami did because he made a killing over the middle of the field last year with the Dolphins. We got to start doing the same thing. Jonnu can get those mismatches. He wins. Trust him. Trust him. Throw him the football. Throw him the football. And then the big piece to all this offensive weaponry, it's Arthur Smith. You know, Arthur Smith has to be better. He's got to be better. First off, he's got to read the room. And when I say read the room, understand the game situations, where you are, down in distance. You know, the Steelers, it seems like they try to outthink ourselves. Arthur Smith is just, okay, I'm going to outthink them. They think we're going to do this, so I'm going to do that. I'm sorry. Sometimes football is about, hey, they know we're going to do this. We just have to execute. They know we're going to run it, and we're going to line up with big people to the left side. They know we're going left. Our guys just have to execute because we're running left. Do that more. Don't have to try to outthink everybody. There's a time and a place for all of that. Trust me. And there's no bigger proponent as far as a Steeler fan in Arthur Smith being dynamic in his schematics. You hear me say it all the time. But there's also a time where you can just line up and just run the football or line up and throw it to your best player. Schematics obviously are going to have a place. They always will in football. But so does, I think my guy's better than you, so I'm going to give him the ball. I think my guy can move this guy against his will, so we're going to run the football behind him. There's a lot of that still has to go on. Steelers need to lean into that. Arthur Smith, in general, needs to lean into that. Stay with what's working. Stay with it. Don't just change for the sake of change. You know, we're running our big boy 12 personnel with Spencer Anderson in there, and they can't stop it. Keep on going. Keep on going. So we don't always have to trick people. That's the key. You just don't have to do that. Sometimes it's okay to do the simple thing. It's okay to do that. Let's go to the poll question, people. Poll 3. What do you think is currently the biggest challenge for the Steelers offense? Is it A, play calling strategy? B, player performance consistency? C, offensive line protection? Or D, lack of elite talent? I do, man. I do. I know you guys think I'm nuts. I just think the Steelers' weapons, for what they are, I think it's enough. I really think it's enough. Again, doesn't mean that I'm saying that they're the best in the league. Doesn't mean that I'm saying that they couldn't use an upgrade. I'm not saying any of that. I just think for what we have and how we're wanting to move the football, I think what they have is enough. We just have to start being a little bit more dynamic and read the room and just doing the things that we do well, that players do well. In actuality, just put players in better positions to make plays for you. And I think the weapons that we have are fine. They're fine. Let's move on. So, Steelers really a contender. You know, the Colts, some people just don't believe in the Colts. They had the best record in football, the best offense in football, good defense. You couldn't find everybody that was still willing to say that they were the best team in football. Matter of fact, if you asked 100 people, 80 people would tell you no, they're not the best team. But they are a good football team, and the Steelers beat them. So we can't deny that aspect of it. But are the Steelers actually a contender? So let's break it down. Currently, they're in first place. There's that. And whether they're in first place by 1 game, tiebreaker, 10 games, the Steelers are currently in first place after 8 football games. That's a good spot to be. And they're in first place by 2 games, not 1, 2 games. However, last year, if you remember, the Steelers were 10-3 at one point in time. And what did that look like? How did that end? But the problem was, there were so many people that thought, we're 10-3, but are we really that good? And then the bottom fell out because of the competition that we started to play, and it got ugly. So there's that point. But to completely fall apart for the Pittsburgh Steelers would mean we win maybe 2 games the rest of the year, 2 or 3 games the rest of the year. Now, you look at their schedule, it's tough. We're going to get to that in a minute. But I just don't see this team completely falling apart. I just don't see it. If the defense can get consistent, if it can pick up the pace and be consistent. Now, they're too far gone to be that top 5 defense that I told you I was going to have that standard, a top 5 defense. We're 8 games in. That ain't happening. But if they can somehow find their way into the top 20, even if the offense continues to be the way that it is, if the defense can get into the top 20, that means they're starting to shut some people down and slow teams down. If they can do that, they got a chance. They got a chance, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just telling you, they got a chance. They see what they did last year. We were 10-3, and we completely fell apart. I don't know if that's going to happen. I know we got a tough schedule. Let's get into it. Because here's the thing. If the Steelers can get the 10 wins, I think they're a contender. Here we sit at 5-3 right now. If the Steelers get 10 wins, that would mean that they're a contender. And let me break down why. So here's the schedule, and it's tough. And these are just the quarterbacks that we are going to face. Justin Herbert, Joe Flacco, Caleb Williams, whether you think he's good or not, he's starting to play better. Josh Allen, Jared Goff, and Lamar Jackson twice. That's what the Steelers have as far as tough quarterbacks. They also have Dylan Gabriel in there too. So you look at that, and you're like, okay. And they also have Tua, but okay. These are the tough quarterbacks. And again, if you throw Caleb Williams in there, okay, that they have left. You go through, and let's just say you give them the game against Cleveland, okay? And then you give them the game against Miami. That gets you to 7, 10 wins. If they get to 10, they're going to have to have beaten a couple of these quarterbacks. That's what I'm saying. If the Steelers can get to 10 wins, they are a contender. Now, does that mean they're going to win a playoff game? I didn't say that. Didn't say that at all. I'm just saying if you're able to beat, because here's the thing. I know there's a lot of pessimistic fans out there because we're jaded. We're jaded over what's happened over the last 9 years. We are jaded fans. So until we see it, we're not going to believe it. I'm right there with you, people. I am right there with you. But if you were to say that the Steelers beat Justin Herbert, Joe Flacco, Josh Allen, Goff, Caleb, Lamar twice, if you would have said that of those quarterbacks, if we beat 3 of them, you would say, yeah, the Steelers are pretty good. Because other than Caleb Williams on that list, who's the bad quarterback? I mean, we're not going to say Flacco's not bad the way he's been playing. You can't say he's bad. But who's the bad quarterback? Herbert? No. Caleb Williams? Now I said if you take him out, Allen, Goff, Lamar, I'm just saying, 10 wins should be the mark that Steeler fans are looking for. And again, that's if you give us the Cleveland and you give us Miami. Okay. Then that's 7. They're going to have beat some good football teams and good quarterbacks in order to get there. To me, if they can get to 10, that would give me the legitimacy that I'm looking for. Now, again, legitimacy is one thing. Can they win a playoff game? That's a different conversation. And you did not hear me say that getting to 10 wins means they can win a playoff game. Doesn't mean that they're going to anyway. But it would give me the thought that we can win one, because beating these caliber of teams with these caliber quarterbacks, well, who do you think you're going to face in the playoffs? It's going to be one of these teams that's got a good quarterback. So you're going to have to beat somebody like this. And to get to 10 wins, I'm giving it to you, they're going to have to beat teams like this. So that's my benchmark. If you want to ride and copy me, fine. Steelers get to 10 wins. I'm saying they're a contender. I'm saying it. Doesn't mean that I think they're going to win the Super Bowl. Doesn't mean that I think they're even going to win a playoff game. Matchups matter. But you have to at least give them the benefit of the doubt with, okay, we beat some good football teams here. You got to give us some credit. We can win. Because I also believe if the Steelers can somehow get to 10 wins and they beat Baltimore one of those times, I think they're going to win the division. And if they win the division, I'm giving us a chance on a home playoff game. That's all I'll say. I'll give us that chance. So, are we contenders? I don't know. We got to go through a gauntlet. People. But if we do and we get to 10, I think you got to say we're contenders. I think you do. So, let's go to the poll. Do you believe the Pittsburgh Steelers can secure at least 10 wins this season to cement their Super Bowl contender status? A, yes, they're going to be dominant. B, maybe. They'll struggle against tough opponents. C, no, I don't see it happening. D, I need to see them play these tough games first. No wrong answer. No wrong answer, ladies and gentlemen. But that's where I'm at with it. 10 wins. If they get to 10 with the remaining schedule they got, I think we got to give them some credit. That's just me, though. That's just me. So this is where we are, man. We're 8 games in. I think we lost a couple games or at least one game that I don't think we should have. The other 2, debatable. You know, the Packers are a good team, but then the Packers turn around and lose to Carolina. And who knows? I mean, Carolina's got a winning record. Who knows if they're any good or not? NFL, man, it's a week by week. That's why I love being an NFL fan, is because it's the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. So we got to make sure that we stay a little bit above the fray and not get too high and not get too low. That's hard for me, though. That's hard for me. You all seen me in the watch party. If you haven't, I live it play to play. I don't go week to week, game to game, or month to month. For me, it's play to play. I live it on my sleeve. And most of you do too. And that's part of the fun of it. We get so mad and we get so worked up, but then it's like, let's go to the next play. And then we get so mad and so worked up, and then we go to the next play. I love it, man. I love being a Steeler fan, but I want to start seeing some toughness out of this team. I want to see just better football. I just want to start seeing some better football. I think we're capable. I'm not saying we're going to win the Super Bowl. I'm not saying anything even remotely like that, but I think we're capable. And again, we're not a finished product. I know it's 8 games in, but teams are still allowed to get better. They're still allowed to get better. The Steelers need to be one of those teams that gets better. If they do, they got a real chance. That's all I got for you today, people. Thank you very, very much, as always. I appreciate you. Remember to like, follow, subscribe. Continue to get in the comments and always hit that notification bell so you know exactly when Steelers Almighty content comes out. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, aloha.